a smelled publicity stunt there. Because
with the courage to take on the blokey world of sports reporting.
She didn't want to be treated as a woman. She was a journalist and she was fearless. She was uncompromising.
Something her brother, Seven sport editor Jim Wilson, knew all too well.
From an early age, I realised it was either Beck's way or the highway.
Because he's out of form in the second row, and that's why Laurie's been forced to move him to prop, Jim.
Well, I'm sorry, but he can be as much out of form for Cronulla, but when he pulls...
You may not always agreed with what she'd written or said, but you knew that it was coming from the heart.
When you knew that Rebecca was writing an article about you or something you're involved in, your pulse rate would go up slightly.
She won dozens of awards. Her writing was fabulous. It wasn't just tough and fearless.
A career of exclusives, exposés that sometimes came with a cost.
Some of them have threatened to maim me, to kill me.
And knowing every playing field...
Normally you guys are the hunters.
...helped her level it.
What she did for young women journos in New South Wales and Queensland has truly broken the glass ceiling.
She was an absolute leader, and not just in regards to her gender, just because she was good.
Someone who loves going to the footy, I love a beer, and I love speaking my mind and having a forthright opinion. So in that way, I'm quite proud to say that I'm a strong woman.
Who had plenty of fun along the way.
I like the straight bit. Oh, Jesus!
In recent years, she kept her battle with breast cancer very private.
There is deep shock. It's like, a lightning bolt in the sky.
Rebecca passed away at her Sydney home. Husband John Hartigan, sons Tom and Will by her side.
He's a hero. He
totally
is Australia's newest hero.
A light, sometimes a fire, always a beacon. After a career of telling stories of sport's best, one of the most extraordinary is her own.
She was a great mate, and she was a loving mate, and I'm going to miss her dearly.
Now, just like we've done here tonight with Gibbsy and Richard Earl, James Bracey sits in this chair Monday to Thursday, as you'd well know, and one of his regular panellists was Rebecca Wilson throughout the years. He was mentor to Brace as well. This morning on Sportsline, he gave an amazing tribute to his friend.
Yeah, on and off the field for Beck, she was just such an amazing person. You saw her there in full flight on one of the editions of Sports Night when Jim and Beck were on together. It was must-see TV, the brother and sister combination. And what you saw on TV with Beck and Jim alike is exactly what happens off it as well. They'd be bickering before they walked up on the set. They'd bicker for an hour and they'd bicker afterwards on the way to the car park as well. So, look, I got to see Beck yesterday, and she's a fighter. She'd fought cancer off before. Unfortunately, this time she couldn't win the second battle, and it did end up getting the better of her. But in those 54 years, she had a life. She had such a life, and she's had such a massive influence on so many people. I've considered her a mate for the 10 years I've known her, and a mentor too. And just what she's done in her career, but what she does with her family and her friends. She's got so many mates, and there are so many tears being shed today. My thoughts go out to Tom and Will. You mentioned the boys. They will be hurting. They're too young to be seeing their mother go. Mary Lou, Beck's mum as well. No parent should ever see their child pass. And, of course, John Hartigan, her husband and former News Corp boss, a great man, and he's been so brave through this entire battle too. It has been a private one for Beck. She was never one to sort of flaunt what was going on in her personal life. It was all business when she was on the camera or writing her columns. But Jimmy, one of our colleagues here, thoughts are with him today. He is hurting. And Liz, Beck's sister, beautiful Lizzie up in Queensland, she's hurting today as well. So our thoughts do go out to the family.
Mate, you mentioned what she did for you, obviously, and that's probably what she did for a lot of young journos through. She paved the way for a lot of females, but really young journos as well. She pretty much said, don't be scared, get in there and have a crack.
And that was a motto, whether it was work or life, it was just go hard, play hard, and that's what she did. She didn't hold back, and she made some enemies along the way, but that was a job. A lot of people criticised Beck throughout the years for going too hard, but it was a success. It got people talking. She wanted people to question what should be questioned, and she did it in such a great way with words, whether it was in print through her years as a journalist or on TV. She's fantastic. The panel shows she's been on well before Sports Night, The Fat with Tony Squires, a good mate back in the day. Beauty and the Beast, really far back in the day too. She's, you survive that long in the industry if you're doing it right. And Beck was able to go beyond the typewriter and get on the screen and convey the words even better there.
Very strong with her opinions and never one to back down. Did she ever concede ground with you, and particularly not with Jimmy, I'm sure?
No, and that was the best thing about it. Once they